good evening, everyone. My name is Moin, and welcome to our weekly session. Okay, so before I start, my favorite disclaimer: nothing that I mention over here or in the server is any type of financial advice from any of us. This is purely for the purpose of learning. Okay, so that's there. So, who wants to go first? Let's start. Smooth, what did you do to the markets, bro? It's like it was raping
Smooth,
in the evening.
will not DM, said NVDA LOL winking face.
Nvidia did not itself didn't run much. Okay,
Smooth, will not DM, said can you look.
I
Smooth,
did.
will not DM,
Oh, you
said
wanted to look
haha.
at Nvidia. All right. You guys do remember, right? I have a QQQ play taken for tomorrow. That one should pretty well cover the losses, whatever was there from ACHR and Walmart. Okay. Alrighty. So here we are.
Order filled.
Okay. This is the what I'm telling you that Nvidia itself didn't have a drastic move. Okay, like the way basically the markets have moved in the after hours. Like it's crazy. If you look at SPY, I think SPY basically gained literally like from 588 after the markets opened. Sorry, from 589, we had a $7 move till now, which is drastic. Okay, like this is totally like if it's just for Nvidia, we're gonna have a pretty big dump. Okay, enough of me. Tell me, what else you guys are looking at? Anyone? Feel free to shoot. Otherwise, I'm seriously gonna go to bed.
No. Hello, Moin. This is
Hey,
Ebony. Hi. I'm sorry. I missed what you just said about Tesla and Nvidia. Would you repeat that, sir? Because
absolutely.
I'm in Nvidia.
Okay, look at Nvidia. Okay, Nvidia had literally, okay, before the earnings, they brought it down. After the earnings, we have roughly a $6 move in Nvidia. Okay, in comparison, look at this pie chart. After futures open and this thing started ripping, look at this. On SPY, we literally had a $7 move. You see? So
Hmm.
if this is purely from the speculation of Nvidia,
Order filled.
then something is very wrong. Okay, tomorrow expect the market to retrace drastically from these levels for futures traders.
Order filled.
Okay, but if this is for something else, because I was like desperately searching the news. Okay, market is going up. I was like scalping all my way up, and then looking for a news. If there's a valid news or a reason this thing is going up, I couldn't find anything. Literally. Okay, so
Well, they actually the court kind of dismissed Trump's authority to impose tariffs. So
that's the news, right, Joshua? It has to be that because it cannot be just a move
yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
Nvidia.
that was the news.
Yep.
Yeah, the courts put a stop to his tariff stuff, so everything kind of ran up.
So what did they say? He cannot put tariffs on anything that he wants. Okay,
Right? Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay, interesting. So whatever is the reason for the run up, then we have a valid justified reason. Okay, put that with Nvidia being like extremely bullish, that adds more
Order filled.
grain to it. Okay, now we are
Order filled.
jumping. Okay, that absolutely
I,
makes sense.
Moin, I want to add to that because I was actually on the Momo call with Nvidia. And in regards to yes, in excuse me, the tariffs. But what I found interesting was in regards to um, Nvidia is unable to sell chips to China.
China. Hmm.
Yes, there's still, and of course there's still talks about it, but right now they can't sell any chips to China.
No,
So I found, I'm
that's
sorry.
not true. That's not true. So
What
the news did it terribly wrong, and they corrected themselves. But of course, the headline is all that people hear.
I did
Okay.
the
Um,
same thing,
not
Smooth.
not saying that you're wrong. It's just they corrected themselves like an hour later, And you know
This
what I
was
mean?
on the
It's
call, Sam.
terrible.
This was actually on the call. Some of
I read
the,
the
of
same
course,
thing.
Jensen,
What was the
yeah,
news?
Jensen Wong said the same thing in regards to unable to selling chips to China for the short term. And so he actually mentioned, yes, that's
So he
going on.
confirmed it. I didn't
He
hear that
confirmed
part.
it on
Okay.
the call. Yeah,
Okay.
he
Order
confirmed
filled.
it on along with some of the other I don't know what they call POCs for the company. He confirmed it and then, switch gears and saying how he's going to the EU next week. So yeah, that was confirmed by his team and himself. But even with that, listening to Bloomberg after, it was quite impressive that their revenue still came in high as it did without having China as the market.
And their projections are good. See, even factoring the China factor, their projected revenues for the next quarter as well as the whole fiscal year looks really bullish.
Yeah, they said they were still make money even after
Yep,
limited access to Chinese markets.
yep. That's what really impressed me.
So do you foresee tomorrow being, you said the retracement, so a pullback for tomorrow?
Nope, not really. Because like
Okay.
the way the markets, there will be a little bit of retracement without a doubt overnight. Okay. Because literally we are sitting at 596 right here, right? Right around this level. Okay, we are literally sitting right around here. If you look at it. So an overnight move this drastic is bound to have some or other type of like at least a pullback. Okay, so that's what I was saying. But the whole thing to be retraced overnight, that would be expecting too much. Okay, right now we closed at like 596 on SPY, I believe. If you look at it, right? 596. We touched 597 and closed at 596. So from here, maybe we'll drop down a little bit, test this line 595-ish, and then move up. But I'm pretty bullish. Unless move does something to kill the market, we should be seeing 600 pretty soon. Probably end of this week. What do you say is move?
I mean, we're like $3 from 600. I mean, why not hit 600 before dropping off, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a magic
Right?
number, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's there. Okay. But curious, can the courts really put a ban on the president? That's interesting. Anyways.
They can, but there he could. He still has, depending on what it is. So it like it doesn't directly affect
Order filled.
like
Mm-hmm.
us. Like it's nothing. It's not a law against the United States citizen.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, executive orders can override stuff like that. I at least I believe so.
Yeah.
So
That
that
should be the most important
Well,
thing, right?
it's kind of our system's set up so that no one branch has more authority than the other. So like what the court is saying is that he can't pass tariffs without taking it through Congress. Like it's got to go through. Like you have to have the
has to go through
judicial and the
Congress.
executive, or you have to have see what I'm saying? Like you have to have two branches and going in the same direction. You just can't go off by yourself.
I mean, there has to be a check and balance. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
Well,
understand.
right, correct. Yeah. I mean, he has the authority to. He does have the ultimate authority to enact the tariffs, but it has to be something that it's got to organically come through Congress and the people. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That makes absolute sense.
So it has to. Okay, I see. So he can't. He basically he could still do it. It just the courts decided that Congress has to agree as well before it goes through.
Yeah, let's move.
Well, that's the
Yeah. He just can't.
Constitution. However, we know that he has the majority in both the House. So it's going to be done.
Right. Yeah. And
Just tell him
so
to give
yeah,
me a
they just
passport.
all the court's just making sure that you know what I mean. The people are being looked out for. And like I said, there's an executive, there's a judicial, and I'm drawing a blank because I'm thinking about other stuff right now. And the
Legislative.
other branch, the
Legislative.
legislative, that's right, the Congress and stuff, the legislative branch. And so the judicial branch is saying that the legislative branch has to sign off on it before the executive branch can enact it.
Makes sense. Okay,
I see.
interesting. Yeah, whatever it is, I want a passport. Smooth, make
I
that
want a
call.
passport.
Yeah, I want a passport. I want a US
So
passport. Smooth, make that call.
I'm still
I mean,
curious. I'm still curious on these. I gotta watch the meeting. On the restrictions for Nvidia is still
Order filled.
it was
still a
live
little
on
odd
Google.
about it
Order filled.
Yeah, it was
because
live on the Mumu. And at the beginning they tell you, it'll be still is recorded or something like that, and you can be able to access it from the Mumu app. That's why I was able to get it.
that's how you were able to see it. Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure it out because Biden banned the sale of Nvidia chips in 2023. The only difference now is Trump basically saying he can't sell the lesser quality version because that's what he did, and that's why Nvidia is continuing to run up because he found a loophole. He basically sold China lesser quality stuff
Mm-hmm.
to mitigate the restrictions, so that way we will ultimately still be in control of the momentum of AI. So like now completely banning it, I'm that's what's confusing to me because like if they're banning the AI chips, which is cool because a lot of the money he's poured into this new revenue is supposed to from the revenue is supposed to be poured in to like continuing to grow this new platform, this new AI machine that they're launching that's supposed to be doing good, and that's what's going to help the next quarter be successful despite the restrictions. But like, I'm still confused if they're able to still sell the older chips because the restriction that Trump first announced was that there was a select group of companies that are not allowed to release their new chips to China. So like if Nvidia plans to like release a newer chip, they just can't sell it to China, but that doesn't mean that they can't sell the old ones. You know what I
Daddy
mean?
Chill said
Or
MHM,
is it?
I will never DM you
I didn't
first.
get,
You need more
yeah,
screens
I didn't get
lol.
that from, yeah, you have to go listen because I found that
Order
the
filled.
meeting was very impressive on all that NVIDIA is doing from GE to the
Order
gaming
filled.
console. I mean, they're in everything. They're in medicine.
Order filled.
But Smooth, in regards to the lesser chip being sold, the way how it was said was like any chips NVIDIA can't sell to China. But I'm gonna see if I can get the link from off of Mumu and forward it to you guys.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
And please, my passport, don't forget about it. I don't want a Canadian passport. I want a US passport.
Come over here.
Well, you
I'll
guys will not.
sponsor you.
Somebody has to adopt me, and other than Beverly, nobody has like even my buddy, Daddy Chill has it accepted to adopt me, right? And you're too young.
I don't have to adopt you. I can sponsor you.
Mm, exactly. You will basically ditch me, just like you
Daddy
dumped
Chill
like
said we can
African.
get married and I'll give you citizenship LMAO.
Bro, I'm straight. Sorry. Okay. Now you Smooth. If I come with your sponsorship, you just the way you dump me when I go long and you dump the market, you will do the same thing to me. I'm not gonna take that risk. Okay. Anyway, coming back on a serious note, what do you guys do today?
Daddy Chill said I have a wife and a kid LMAO face with tears of joy I'm straight also.
So what do you guys trade today? What happened? I'll show you my trade. What pissed me off I was just so mad with myself today. Anything anyone wants to share what they traded?
I didn't trade today. I was multitasking and yeah, so I didn't want to continue bad habits. So I didn't do any trading today.
Very good decision.
You can
I
take a
got into
guess what
some
I traded today.
WMB calls. Oh, sorry.
No, you go. You go. No,
Go
I,
ahead,
I was
Joshua.
just joking.
Say it.
You.
What did you say, Joshua? The ticker?
WMB calls. WMB
WNB.
613. Yeah.
I must be getting it wrong. Tell me the name again. W for Walmart. Then
Yeah, M for M&M's and B for brother.
WMB. What do they do?
Um, I don't know.
Okay.
Metals.
It's industrial. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you do, sir? Tell
No,
us.
they're an energy company that operates as a large Northwest pipeline system.
Okay. Chart looks fully ready for a breakout. Okay. Except for Joshua. But someone has to take this chart and tell me like why does this look so ready for a breakout? Anyone. You can't lose money. I'm the only one trading now. So just say it. Why does it look so primed for a breakout right here? Come on, don't be so silent. Talk to us.
So a stacking of the EMAs.
Daddy Chill
For
said
one,
because it keeps tapping that same spot.
this is more accurate. Okay, Christian, you are right as
Daddy
well.
Chill said sorry I would take but baby is crying.
No worries. Okay. Managing a baby is more difficult than trading, right, Brandon? Look at this, Christian.
Daddy Chill said fuck yes.
Look here. Right here, your chart is so ready for a breakout. You're making lower lows actually each time you're coming down. So once you break here, literally what you are looking at is like all-time highs. You have nothing over here to stop you. Makes sense, bro?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I
Yeah.
would look at it. But I
And
would give Joshua it's his trade. Like what was his logic on it?
well, it's kind of the same thing. It was hovering up there around resistance. And
Order
it kept
filled.
bouncing off the same level for a while. Let me kind of go back over. Let me give me a second. Let me pull up the
Hmm.
chart.
It's simply basically trying to break through. Okay. Like,
Yeah. So on the daily, I got back all the way to somewhere about early March where it started tapping up there around the 61 level, and it
hmm
wouldn't. It kind of break over and then it go back and squat. And then you can see in early April where it really hit that one level right around the $60 level, that $60 psychological level. It just
Yep.
didn't want to get through, and it didn't want to get through. Now it's finally starting to get through. And if it can close up a candle above that 60 and get some steam, it can really, I think, get some good momentum holding up there.
Yep.
And so on my chart, I had it rising in an ascending triangle. It just kind of happened to break out a little bit ahead of
Ebony said
time. What
mumoo.com.
the plan was. But also, when going through and looking at the options contract and what the potential was for this stock, I felt like then, and I still kind of feel like now, that those contracts are way undervalued.
hmm
And once they get some attention, they could, you know what I mean? They could really run. Because those
What's the
$64
strike
calls are only
and
60
what's your
cents.
expiry?
Um, um 613 right now, but I mean, there's other
Ebony
contracts down the
said.
line that I could get back in easily.
You have a very nice trade here if things don't go south drastically. Okay, I like this trade, honestly. Like, if you basically break
Smooth.
through this level,
Will
there
not
is nothing
DM.
to stop you
Replied
here.
to Ebony Tie folded hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's like a clean break from here, and the more times you tap a support or a resistance, the more highly likely it's gonna break. You broke through your levels, your EMAs are all stacked up, just like Christian mentioned. So this is literally primed for a breakthrough. Nice trade, bro. Nice choice. Finding it out. Okay.
And I think still right now could be. I'll go back. I have to go and look, but the ones that are like in the money are still only around $100. So I mean, it's still a value pickup if anybody's looking.
Because once you break through this, look, you don't have any reference point, right? So where are you gonna go? Most likely, the place where you're looking at is most likely $65, the psychological mark, because you don't have anything to stop you. Okay, so right at that moment, and given the time you gave yourself, it's roughly about 2 weeks. Okay, so if you look from that perspective, that you gave yourself enough time, okay, and you have not picked up a spot which is like if you picked up like $70 calls or something like that, that would have been pretty unlikely. But you gave yourself like something which is very realistic to happen in the next 2 weeks. Okay, so the probability of your success immediately went up a lot, bro. The way I look
Yeah,
at it.
and that goes back to Smooth saying that whenever you have like a price target or whatever, take a
Mm-hmm.
contract maybe a dollar or two lesser than what you actually anticipate the move to be, so that
Mm-hmm.
you're already in the money. If it doesn't hit, you know what I mean, your target, and then you're good.
Correct. Yeah, that's there. Okay, nice trade. Can I show you a trade which I really pepper handed? This is the prime example of paper handing. I love trading penny stocks, you guys know that, right? And I short them a lot. I took this trade yesterday after hours. I literally sold here 754. Okay, literally, I sold it here. I started covering right above here, and I think 610 was that. I had 1,000 shares. I covered pretty decent trade, went in pretty heavy. Look at this. Such a nice trade, right? I'm happy. Okay, whatever I made from there, roughly about $1,000. That was it. What really pissed me off is I keep on telling you guys, always scale, right? And keep some runners. This is what happens to people who basically don't listen to themselves, honestly. I'm pretty happy I went out here. It dropped to 550. I really didn't care. Okay. Today in the morning, I looked at this market open. I could have easily kept 100 share at least. Okay. Because even if those 100 shares ran up, I was so much heavy into profits already with the rest 900 that would have made absolute sense. Market open, look at this. Straight, hitting the 450-ish. Okay. From where I took out, that's another $2. Because my average cover was like 650-ish. I started from 675-ish and I covered on the way down. After that, just look. This is pre-market. Market opened, you started dumping. Okay. I'll use a 5-minute chart, sorry. Makes it much easier to move. You started dumping and look at this. When I came home today after work and saw the chart, because I have this habit of like looking at charts even after I finish, I literally felt like crying. Ever found a better example of paper handing than this? And why you should always scale, not just let close it and go away happy. This could have been literally from 650 to, let's say, even if I took $2, this could have been a $4,000 trade. Okay, 4.5K. Whereas I literally took it out at where I told you guys. Okay, 650-ish, made my 1,000, walked off. Did not leave anything to scale out. So don't do a mistake like this. Whenever you trade, gradually keep scaling. You see profits, you keep scaling. Second thing is when this thing started breaking down here, I could have easily added to my position, okay, which I did not. Second mistake. Okay, in retrospect, it's very easy to see where we made the mistakes. Third, even in the pre-market today, after it dumped, I had the opportunity to get into this again when it didn't break this mark, right? I did not. Okay, because I'm like, I traded this, I'm done, I'm not gonna touch it again. But if you
Order
scaled,
filled.
it would have been so good. Okay, so that's there. Second lesson on these penny stocks, never ever trust the news because the news is used to pump. They had the news that they sold one of their subsidiaries for something like $880 million. Okay, and they have a float of 110 million shares. So, which roughly tells you like the valuation would be increasing by $7 per share, correct? But then on the other hand, everybody reads the 880 million number only. They basically put the news just like that. If you read the news, they had so many conditions going into that clause, okay? And of that 880 million, only 160 or 180 million was direct upfront cash. The rest was all contingent on something or the other. Okay, so nobody read through this, right? A lot of people basically just went in, thought like, okay, this is so good, and just look like what happened to the share. So on penny stocks, if you catch the early momentum, if you caught this, well and good. This is a superb trade. If you took it yesterday just when it started pumping up. But if you don't catch the early momentum, once the fade starts, if you feel like I will catch the dip, okay, this is probably the riskiest type of moves you can take. Because once this basically reached a level and it cannot sustain a drastic move down, that's it. This thing is gone. This thing is done. Okay, then it's primed for shorting only. There is no long trade on this one. Make sense? Right. So that's me paper handing it. Okay, venting out my frustration. So don't do that. Scale always and never get married to these stocks because like they literally come back to where they started from, each and every single one of them. It
Do you
started.
have to have do you have to have a special type of account to short
No,
penny stocks?
you just need a margin account. That's it. You don't need to use the margin, but you need to have a margin account.
Is that are those available through in Robinhood and Webull?
I don't think Robinhood allows you to short. I'm not sure of
Hmm.
that. Smooth can speak more on that because I don't use Robinhood, but I don't think you can open a margin account in Robinhood. Webull, you can.
You can. It's very limited. You almost can trade like no penny stocks.
Okay.
Um, the margin account is really just there for
Leverage.
24-hour trading.
Okay.
No, for 24-hour trading. Like right now, like the people who made money on Nvidia after earnings, they probably have a margin on Robinhood because they're able to buy like 100,000 shares right at a
Order
time
filled.
and buy and sell them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's the only
Order
bet. Like,
filled.
the only thing good about penny stocks on Robinhood is, I mean, margin on Robinhood is that being able to trade stocks like 24 hours pretty much. But
Okay.
other than that, uh, not worth it. Besides selling calls and puts, but I mean, who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's there. Yeah. On Webull you can. Okay. I think Christian, you asked the
Weeble's
question,
easier.
right? Yeah. Webull you can. And
Yes,
Webull
you can.
is very, I mean, they have a button for short even. Okay, on the margin accounts, which is
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Webull also let you have both accounts active. On Robinhood, you can only have cash or a margin. On
Seriously?
Webull, you can have a cash and a margin. Yeah, I have
Okay.
both. I have a cash, margin, and IRA account on there. There are three
Okay.
separate accounts I can all trade on.
Interactive
Yeah,
Broker
the
allows me to
same here.
have, yeah, exactly. We will have a cash and margin. And Interactive Brokers, what you guys call IRA, we call it TFSA. Okay, here. So Interactive Broker lets me open all the accounts.
Ebony said Webull you cash and margin account available.
Okay. The only thing is like if you're planning to short, open with a broker who has a huge base because the broker actually gives you the shares from their inventory. So if you have a broker like Webull or Interactive Broker, which is very widely used, they have a huge customer base, so you will get like shortable shares pretty easy compared to a broker which doesn't have too many customers, okay, and doesn't have a big inventory. That's there.
And if you own any shares, be careful of transferring. Like if you decide to just leave Robinhood and go to Webull, it's not an easy transition. As people say it is. You pretty much lose the price that you bought it at, essentially.
Why?
Um, you know,
Yeah, I don't
just give
know
you
why
equivalent
that is,
there.
but
Yeah.
I went through the same experience.
They just give you the equivalent to your monetary value of what you're.
They don't
So if I
transfer the
have a
portfolio?
thousand, yeah, they if I have 1,000 shares of Nvidia,
Uh-huh.
it's worth, let's say it's worth ten thousand
Order
dollars, right?
filled.
Mm-hmm.
Then they would give me $10,000 worth of
Order
Nvidia.
filled.
But if my shares were just at $100, they would be giving me like 80 shares because Nvidia is at 140 now.
That's
Mm.
very unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I thought they're supposed to transfer. I did only once in my life. Okay. Like there's the largest Canadian bank is called RBC. I used to work for them. So my brokerage account was with them. So when I changed employers, I had to transfer my portfolio and they did like a share to share transfers move. Like if I had 100 shares
Yeah,
of
you could do
Nvidia,
that with a you could do that with an IRA or a 401k
yeah.
because essentially you're not receiving profits from like that whatever share you bought it at. You just own the share, the rights to the share at a specific price,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like transferring your portfolio where you own a monetary amount of a company and not a designated share amount. That makes sense.
Okay.
Like because you can easily actively like get rid of your shares, but when you do your IRA, it takes or 401k, it takes several weeks to settle those shares. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? As opposed you could settle it right away. So basically, when you transfer your shares from account to account, they settle it right away, as opposed to an IRA where you're closing it and then giving it to another broker saying, "Hey, I bought it for this amount, and this is what's on the paper." They haven't taken any money out, or whatever the
Gotcha.
case is. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it would be always better just to sell at the price it is and then buy it again
Buy it again.
on the new broker.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly. Why would I take all the
yes.
hassle of losing money? Okay, makes sense. All right. Okay, so that's it. Tell us one last question. Who wants to have it? Anyone?
Okay, I'll have, yeah,
Go
I'll
ahead,
ask the
madam.
question. I think, yeah, I think Smooth had mentioned this a while back, but what I find is like if I'm doing trades and if my cash, I'm looking for a way around settle cash and still trying to trade. Does that make sense? Like when I'm like if I make a trade, I'm out of it, and then I go to try to, I found something else, and then it's like, hey, you can't trade because you don't you're settled cash. Is there a way around that other than having other like wallets?
No, you just have
You
to.
No.
cannot legally do
You
that.
Okay.
can't. You
You
basically
cannot
have to
Okay.
legally do
either.
that.
You could add money though. You could add
I could,
money.
yes, that's the thing. Add money, right? I'm trying
Yeah,
to
you could add
recycle
money, but you
money.
can't.
Yeah.
You can't settle it. No, it has to go out on paper first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You have to do that T+1 settlement, right? Otherwise, you're breaking rules cleanly.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Well, thank
yeah.
you.
Not a good idea. Okay.
Got it.
Yep. So that's there. Okay. Margin lets you get around it because you're leveraged, but be very careful always
You're
using a
limited.
margin because if you get a margin
Mhm.
call, that's enough to destroy the account.
Yeah.
Okay. So I trade on margin accounts, but I make sure I trade only up to the limit that my cash allows.
Yeah, and then you also, what's it called? Where the margin you can't day trade. You can only do 3 to 5 trades a week.
Right.
So that's
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing with the
Been
That's the
market.
caught with
PDT
that one
rule.
too.
That's the PDT rule, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
pattern trader.
Yeah.
Pattern
Pattern day
day
trader.
trader, yeah.
Yeah, I did that in my Weeble account. Yep. Yeah, I've had those issues too.
Some brokers actually ban you permanently for it.
That's only if you don't have over 25K in there. So you guys know.
Yeah. But I thought they give you a
If you have a
warning.
margin with 25K, you can do as much as you want.
Yeah. But they give you a warning first, right? They don't ban you outright.
No, I just got banned. Not banned. I'm sorry, not banned. I got the notice that yeah, I've
Exactly. You
reached
get a
my minimum.
warning. You get a warning
Yeah.
saying
Okay.
basically, yeah, okay, that you can.
I
And
just get afraid with margins. I don't want to like over trade. Like that money's just not settled. Because say if I take a loss, then I, would be down when I don't realize it is. That scares me. I'd rather wait till tomorrow.
discipline. Okay, seriously. The discipline is the most important thing. I think like if I had a little bit more of that, I would be a really good trader.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
I've been working on it for the last 4 years.
Okay.
Okay.
I got a
Let's
lot
see.
of room to
We'll
go.
get there. We'll get there. Let's be positive. Okay. But whatever it is, move by tomorrow. Okay, I'll give you one more day. By Friday, we want 600. Finish this move. Okay. So with that, let's call it a night. Okay, give Smooth some rest because he has to plan how he's gonna take us over 600. And let's trade
Yeah.
together tomorrow. Okay, I'll be
Ah,
home.
thank
So
you
I'm gonna
guys.
miss you
Thank
guys a
y'all.
lot. Okay. So that's there.
Thank you.
Have a
Yeah.
good night,
I'll be
everyone.
live in the
Have
afternoon.
a good one. Thank you.
Bye. আর মেম্বার কবে 90-তে চলে আসছে 100-তে 100 পর্যন্ত টাচ করতে পারছিলাম I'm working on it. Hmm? I'm trying to build up a profile in stock trades. ওরা ইয়ে না they try very hard এখানে but দুজনই introverts পুরা Now they tried very well to keep this one active. They put dead efforts to keep this one active. They really try.